You are, let me take this off of, there we go. All right. You are back in the club, and I'm so happy to have you back. You're one of my favorite speakers. I emailed with you yesterday, and you wanted me to look for the traditional things we look for, but also you said this will be your first time presenting virtually. So there were some things you wanted to look for there. When we look at the speech, we get a lot of speeches in this group about goal setting, but I think that you came at it from a different angle than I've heard before. Most people give us the rules about goal setting. They all tell us how to focus on being measurable, being achievable, setting a time frame. You didn't do that. You told us how to achieve goals, which I think we've been missing in the past when people tell us about goals. They always focus on the rules, but not how to get there. And so you kept coming back to that big, what would people do? What would people describe me as? And what is my end purpose? And are my actions tying back to that and breaking it down into 5 or 10 larger goals and then breaking those down into everyday actions? And I think that's very helpful when most of the speeches on goal setting we have are about the setting of the goals and not the achieving of the goals. So I really enjoyed the angle you took at it and how that came out. When I look at your speech craft, you're a very good speaker. You had a nice flow, you had a nice tone, a nice rhythm. What I really love that you did was from the outset, you tied in a speech that had just happened. That takes skill, especially when we practice these speeches ahead of time, to integrate something that just happened into your speech. It's very impressive, and you do it well. You also tied in the members in the group. So you used examples that had people in the group that we know. So that helps with your speech, that helps get people engaged, as well as you challenged us, you asked us questions. I would pause a little bit longer after the questions. You asked everybody to raise your hands and then you just went on. But it's still something that helps engage your audience, especially virtually, get them reflecting on their goals and their situations. The opening story was a very good story. You showed us how even when you had the most time, you did the least reading, and why. It's because you weren't mindful about reading. And so opening with a story is always a good idea for a speech, and yours tied in very well. Logistics. So this is the first virtual speech that you had. I would say, were you rusty? No, it's been a year since you spoke. Again, you did a very great job. I would put your timer on silent if you're going to time yourself so that it doesn't go off in the climax of your speech. And I would shut the bathroom door next time. The other thing I would say is this speech seemed like two speeches. You started talking about what you want to be known as and that you want to mentor women. And I think that is a speech on its own. If you were going to use it as a story of how you're being mindful towards your goals, then you need to focus on it more. But it felt like you kind of slammed in there. And that's my time. Great job. Glad to have you back.